Here with a handbag. I don't think I need this because in the village where I grew up, we used to use our own natural voices. I just want to say, Max and Samuel, it's an honor to be here. And thank you so much, Deloitte. This is my first time actually to stand in Great Britain and to speak in a corporate world. What I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, even though the film is not about me, and then how I felt Tare is my story and she's a story of all the girls. Then finally I wrote a poem. I'm a poet. I wrote a poem in dedication to everyone in the world who stood up for this young girl. I grew up in a high-density suburb in Chitumbisa, Zimbabwe. This is where Tare comes from. She also comes from Manicaland. Manicaland is just near border Mozambique. And born there in a domestic violence family every day. My parents used to fight. In 1981, I lost my mother to domestic violence. And I stopped being a daughter. I started being a mother, looking after 6 siblings at age 9. And then later on, my brother drowned and died, in a river. I was a mother at 12 years, and losing your own child at age 12. It's something I don't want anyone to experience in life. Then later on, as a little girl, I was raped whilst I was a vendor. I used to be a vendor. That's why I say I take my bag always, because we used to sell on the streets. You put your money in the bra, and then you keep it so dearly. I'm also a girl who went to a rich girls' school. At a time when I didn't have a pencil to write my examination, the girl who was seated next to me in the bus is the one who gave me a pencil. I'm not here because a millionaire sponsored me. I'm here because of a pencil. I went to a rich Catholic girls' school, wrote my examination, and I came top. Even when they announced the result, they said, Betty Makoni, highest marks. Everybody looked at the poor girl to say, how come she looks so ugly and she looks so dirty? How can she get all this? But you know what? If in life you get it, it's all yours. That's how I came out of poverty. I started a whole network in Zimbabwe supporting 300,000 girls by 2008, before I came into exile, after my work was very much infiltrated. But I didn't give up. Again, I put my mission and vision and came to England, where my husband got a job as an engineer with EDF. And then when we came here, the girls in the village knew me, and they said, well, we have tried everything. Let's contact Betty, because they call me their hero who came from zero. So they contacted me to say, Miss Makoni or Mujare, the Royal Highnesses, they give me that title in my village. And they said, Tare is almost dying. The tumor is so big. Then I said, well, I'm just coming into England, with my family. I cannot take anything anymore, because from Zimbabwe, I'm actually running away. I just want to take a break. But emails, with our children from rural areas, if they want to email you, they walk up to 40 miles to get to the nearest cafe. I understood it. I understood their pain to walk to contact me through technology. Then finally I said to myself, the emails are coming so much. Remember the girl who was on the street selling? Remember Betty who didn't want to lose her own child, my brother? I said, if my Tare, Mom to Tare, as we passionately call it, loses her daughter, a daughter who wants to become a doctor, and look at you, Betty, you are now a CNN hero. You are celebrated globally. Why can't we do the same with Tare? I kept shaking my conscience. I had no scent on myself, but I'm a girl vendor. I always want people to know if you have nothing, you will do something. So I just flashed a message over Facebook. I didn't know Facebook. I was just a village activist there. I had people talking about it. And then a floodgate of messages started coming. Everybody was shocked. You know, we are not medical people. But what I picked up from the email, they said to me, Professor Hutchinson has offered to do the operation. Then I said, Professor Hutchinson has offered it. Who is he? So again, in England, I don't even know a hospital. And yes, I'm going to be the one taking responsibility. It went on very well, and we got to the hospital bill as £8,000. But the good professor said I would do it for free. Otherwise, if he had put on his own charge, I was going to collapse. You know, also I don't want to give money. I grew up a vendor. I give a little, but I don't want to give too much money. So when I got that one, coincidentally, CNN announced me a hero. So I had that advantage of being a hero in America and also finding my ground here. I mobilized my community. I mobilized everybody. This is when I saw Samuel and the lovely Max over there. Then Samuel was insisting that he wants to take the what do you call it? Video. The video. But at the same time, I had a patient in the house. At the same time, my children were shocked. By the way, the embassy in Zimbabwe had denied Tare a visa. I don't wish to embarrass them. It's what is in the procedure. Yes, it's the book. But when I emailed them, my last words were that if Tare is to die with the doctor waiting, it's not going to be Great Britain. It's going to be a terrible Britain. Because the whole world, I'm going to tell them that you refused a one visa, one life chance. They granted a visa. It was well granted. Done. That's how we got Tare in this country. She came to my house, my sons saw her, and my little boy, aged 11, said, Mama, give her life. When I was staying with Tare, I was touched by something. She kept on saying, when I finish school, Miss Makoni, I want to be a doctor. I want to give it back. Then I said, girl, you will give it back. So when we went on the tube stations, my husband sometimes driving me, the girl had this almost 1 kg tumor. She kept eating. She kept talking. Then I said, what resilience, what strength, what bravery. I saw more than a girl. I saw, at some time I said, is this the spirit awake? I kept asking. When we got to the hospital welcomed her. It was my first time to get into a state-of-the-art hospital, to be honest. My hospitals that I used to take my girls who were sexually abused are hospitals that are dirty, where the doctor is absent, where you will never see a nurse smiling. But when speech therapist came, I said, oh, speech therapist to teach you talking? Oh, this doctor is going to be giving you blood. This one is going to do that. I was so touched with the standard of care that I saw in the hospital. And even our professor, he was just spot on. What inspired me about Great Britain, I know I come from Africa. If one day I am to be a president of any African country, I want to take the good practices of hospitals. Young girls are dying daily. They are dying not because there are no educated people in our country. They charge a poor girl like Tare £10,000 or more just to get that surgery. Ladies and gentlemen, Tare was operated on twice as I waited. And I think one day it was almost 12 hours. Then we broke into our song, our Shona song, where I started even talking to our ancestors. We started being very spiritual. You know, when you are cornered in a problem, it's only the spirit that functions on you. We got our girls back. And what is my message today? My message is, it's very hard for women activists like us in a foreign country to even get to BBC, to get to the newspaper to say, I do have a story. Sometimes you take a newspaper on the underground tube and you see someone being featured on front page with a shoe, with a dress. And then you have got a child with a 1 kg tumor in your house. You don't know how to tell the good people I'm seeing here today. I wish our stories as African women could be positively shared. Yes, we don't have money. Yes, we don't have the facilities, but we do have the passion. We want to do something for children in this country and in our countries. I want to thank Professor Hutchinson for the free treatment. I want to thank the filmmakers for making the story official. I know you are not in a position to take even when we cooked the sadza, or where I cleaned their mouth, or whatever happened when you were not there. But I want you to know that a lot of background work happened. But the work was just with goodwill and good intent to make sure the girl becomes a doctor that she wanted to become. And also what I want to say is, by launching this film, doctors, filmmakers are going to be somewhere else. I'm going to get a floodgates of requests because they know my email address, Betty@gmail.com. It's going to come. It's so emotional to, yeah, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a filmmaker, but to see little girls who are saying you can do it, it's going to be painful for me. So don't leave us. Don't leave us behind in what you are doing. We are determined. We really want to be part of this society. We want to do something positive. Then to end my speech, I just want to read a quick poem that I wrote for Tare. She's actually in my book called A Woman Wants a Girl. But this poem is thanking people who did great work. Salutations to those surgeons who from afar hear the cry. Salutation one after another to this 1 hour surgeon, who with generosity of heart give a life and not a bill, who with no bill make double bill up to himself. Ordinary citizens doing extraordinary service to non-citizens. Salutation to those who from their £2 sent 50 pence, those who killed and transferred to unknown, those who money-grammed whatever gram, those who by PayPal made Tare their pal, those who check it, her life and signatured it. Salutation one after the other. Salutation to those with their feet to work for a life. Salutation newsmakers who make news to save a life. Dancers and DJs like Lady G there who entertain to save a life. Airline that airlifted and enabled this. Salutations to these and those trusted in their trust of deeds with these funds, who take them all and leave no dime for self. Those who 27 work for life-saving dime. But shame on them all. Shame on this one and that one. Shame on these ones and those ones. Shame on him and her. Shame on them who witnessed, and shame and chose not to say shame, and a big shame too on them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.